Clash Royale has reached a point where balancing this game is extremely difficult. There are so many cards, so many different mechanics, so many reworks, and changed metas with every new update. Most cards come out and fall into a normal range of power. They're either decent, average, or barely noticeable. But every now and then, the game adds a new card that completely crosses the line. A card that instantly changes the way people build decks. A card that dominates ladder, warps matchups, and becomes a problem every single player talks about. Today, we're looking at those cards, the ones that weren't just strong, they were genuinely broken. We're starting at number 7, the least broken on this list, and we'll go all the way up to number 1, which is the single most broken card the game has ever seen. So make sure you watch till the end, and without further ado, let's begin. At number 7 is a card that shouldn't logically be this strong on paper. Furnace. The new Furnace turned a harmless spawner into an actual offensive threat. Instead of sitting in one place and spawning fire spirits, this version actually walks up the lane, attacks at your troops, and keeps spawning fire spirits at the same time. You're no longer dealing with a building you can ignore for a few cycles anymore. You're dealing with a piece of constant pressure that physically enters the fight and forces you to commit elixir directly into it. The spirit spawns remove all the normal cheap counters, and by the time the Furnace body reaches the bridge, your setup is already softened, and your position is already worse than it should be. And when you take that same mechanic and upgrade it to its evolution version, it becomes even more broken because the body survives longer and the lane presence becomes heavier. Evo Furnace isn't just annoying, it can completely block you from ever getting your real push started once double elixir hits. The next card on the list is number 6. Electro Giant. Electro Giant is one of the most infamous cards Clash Royale has ever released, because unlike other tanks that could be defended with swarms or defensive buildings, Electro Giant punished your defense just for existing. Every troop that hit him took damage. Your own defense literally damaged itself. This was the first time a tank didn't just deal damage, it actively punished the defender. And it changed everything. You couldn't swarm him, you couldn't distract him cheaply. If you didn't have a very specific counter ready, you simply lost your entire push and your tower. Troops like Inferno Dragon and Might Miner are ideal counters for such tanks, but they are useless in front of E-Giant as it releases electricity which reset them every time, dealing no real damage. That's why when Electro Giant first came out, ladder tilted completely. People called it the easiest card ever created. You could drop him behind your king tower, support him with just a couple of cards, and he would walk forward and destroy everything in his path with very little skill required. Yes, he eventually got nerfed, but even after multiple nerfs, the card still sits in a weird place in the game today. He makes number 6 because while he was extremely dumb and extremely easy to use, he still wasn't as meta warping as the cards we are about to enter now, because now we are entering the top 5. Number 5, Royal Recruits. Royal Recruits are a perfect example of a card that seemed harmless on paper, but once people learned how to build around them, they became one of the most toxic cards in the entire game. 6 units, all with shields, splitting across the entire map automatically. This card punished both lanes at the same time, without requiring the player to make any difficult decisions. Normally in Clash Royale, you choose which side to pressure, you choose where to defend, but Royal Recruits removed that gameplay entirely. You didn't choose lanes, the card chooses it for you. When someone plays Royal Recruits, you have to defend both sides. What does this mean? It means mistakes become twice as punishing and could cost you your tower if you don't react in time. Back when Royal Recruits were at their strongest, the deck combinations around them, Royal Hogs plus Flying Machine plus Zappies turned into one of the most low-skill autopilot strategies ever seen. You didn't have to predict anything. You didn't have to outthink the opponent. You simply dropped recruits, supported them, and let the card do the pressure for you. There were almost no clean counters to this level of lane control. They're number 5, because while they were incredibly frustrating and oppressive, they still didn't reach the absolute insanity of the top 4. Because the next card was not just oppressive, it redefined what broken meant. Number 4, Goblin Machine. Goblin Machine is one of the most recent cards to completely break the game. This card's design looks funny at first, a goblin sitting on a turret with insane attack speed, but people didn't understand how strong that actually was until it hit real matches. Goblin Machine didn't just deal fast damage, it deleted swarms instantly. It burned down tanks faster than expected. And on top of all that, Goblin Machine didn't even need heavy support. You could drop it behind any slow tank, Goblin Giant, P.E.K.K.A, you name it, and suddenly you had a push that ignored normal counterplay. Goblin Machine became the perfect support card. Any push with it instantly became dangerous. People forget that a card doesn't have to be complicated to be broken. This card got hit with nerfs almost immediately because the community reacted fast. You saw Goblin Giant plus P.E.K.K.A. plus Rage spell lists take over mid-ladder, and for a long period of time, there was always a Goblin Machine deck in top ladder every season. Goblin Machine was a clear sign that Clash Royale still has moments where a single new card can instantly warp the entire meta. Next, we enter the top 3. These last 3 cards weren't just overpowered or dominant. They literally forced nerfs, forced reworks, and forced the community to change how they played Clash Royale. The next card was so broken on release that it honestly feels like a glitch when you look back at it now. Number 3. Executioner on release. Executioner today is balanced. He's fine. He's okay. He fits in certain decks, mostly splash control. But on release, Executioner was legitimately one of the most broken cards this game has ever seen. People always forget how insanely overpowered his original stats were. His axe had a huge range, his splash width was massive, his damage was extremely high, and most importantly, he stunned units on every hit. Not a tiny slow, a real stun effect. Executioner on release was basically a splash unit plus crowd control plus tower defender plus spell removal alternative all in one card. He deleted entire pushes by himself. He shut down air. He shut down ground. He shut down swarms. He shut down tanks. There was actually a period where if your deck did not include Executioner plus Tornado, you were trolling. That combo alone destroyed every push in the game for almost zero risk. Supercell reacted to this fast. Executioner was nerfed several times in rapid succession. And that's how you know this card wasn't just strong, it was game-breaking. And that's why he's number 3. Because now we go even higher. Number 2, Boss Bandit. Boss Bandit is in her own league. This card didn't just fit into the meta, she shaped the meta around herself. She punished misplacement harder than any card in the game. She punished slow units. She punished medium units. She punished wrong spacing. Boss Bandit became the fastest punish tool Clash Royale ever created. You could misplace something by half a tile and instantly lose the lane. She forced every single player to learn how to stagger troops properly, how to space cards apart, and how to defend without giving free dash value. I mean, she can solo a Mega Knight, do I even have to say anything else? And when you look at how many decks she fit in, it's insane. Cycle decks, bridge spam, control decks, even hybrid tempo decks. And she became so oppressive that even when she wasn't directly nerfed, Supercell had to nerf other cards just to limit her strength indirectly. Boss Bandit lands at number 2 because she didn't just break matchups. She forced the entire game to play around her. But even Boss Bandit is nothing compared to the final card, because number 1 is different. Number 1, Phoenix, most broken card in Clash Royale history. Phoenix is not just a strong card. Phoenix is the single most broken card ever released in Clash Royale. No card in the history of this game has been buffed, nerfed, and rebalanced this many times in such a short time frame and still remained meta. Phoenix redefined what value means in Clash Royale, because unlike every other card in the game, Phoenix had a built-in second life. You could lose the Phoenix in battle, the egg would drop, and if your opponent failed to destroy that egg in time, Phoenix would respawn. So one card was effectively 2 cards. One troop could take multiple fights. One troop could defend and then attack. One troop could die, and then become a whole new threat again at 0 extra cost. The community discovered instantly that Phoenix had the best combination of DPS, tankiness, air control, spell resistance, and revival value. We've never seen a card take over ladder, tournaments, and competitive play all at the same time this fast. Entire deck archetypes were built around Phoenix. If you didn't run Phoenix, you were behind. Every single card on this list was broken. Every card on this list shaped a meta. Every card on this list forced Supercell to react. But Phoenix stands alone. Phoenix wasn't just broken. Phoenix was a turning point. Phoenix proved that Clash Royale even today can still release a card so powerful that the community instantly recognizes this is the strongest card we've ever seen. That completes the ranking. Every single card we listed today had one thing in common. They all reached a point where Clash Royale just wasn't playable the same way anymore. They didn't just win games. They changed how people thought about defense, about pressure, about value, and about counterplay. Some cards were broken for short periods. Some cards stayed broken for months. And every time players think Clash Royale can't release anything this strong again, the game proves us wrong. There will always be a next broken card. There will always be a new moment where the community says, nah, they messed up again. And that is part of what keeps Clash Royale alive, because power is always shifting. That's it for today's video. See you soon.